I am 18 now, but still a pathetic and virgin human. The wolves in our pack didn't see humans like me as anything more than background noise, and I liked it that way. But to my surprise, I got accepted into Lunaris Academy, the elitist werewolf school of the kingdom where alpha werewolves pick their future queens. How the hell did I end up at Lunaris Academy? I tried everything not to get in. I had absolutely no interest in becoming an option for those ruthless wolves. I wrote weird things in the mandatory application form so that they would reject me. But not only did I get accepted, 4 most dangerous Cardinal Alphas, the literal gods of the Lunaris Academy, started fighting over me. Me, a nobody, a virgin girl from the trailer park. That was when I knew there was more to who I was. My unusual purple hair color was not there for no reason. "Violet Purple, please report to Principal Lincoln's office." The announcement blared through the hallway speakers. "Oh crap," Violet muttered under her breath. "Why does the principal want to see me? Is it about the application and the weird things that I wrote? Please, God, tell me they can take a joke." Violet recalled the exact words she had written under the special skills section of the application form. Special skills. 1, giving amazing services. 2, giving a killer lap dance. After all, what else was she supposed to do? Nancy wanted her to get into Lunaris, so she could land some hotshot alpha and pick them out of their poverty. Violet never wanted to get into Lunaris. Not even a little. She had poured her frustration into the form, writing that ridiculous nonsense without a second thought. Gibberish that no one in their right mind would ever take seriously. But now, here she was. Outside Principal Lincoln's office, she took a deep breath and knocked. "Come in," his voice boomed. Headmaster Lincoln leaned forward, still smiling. "The application results are in. I called you in to thank you." "Thank me?" "Yes, Violet. Don't you know, since the scholarship program started, only 3 students from our district have ever been chosen. It's a huge deal, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I wanted to personally acknowledge your achievement." Achievement? A creepy feeling started to crawl up Violet's spine. No way. She refused to even consider it. Headmaster Lincoln, totally oblivious to her growing panic, pulled out an envelope. "Congratulations, Violet, you've been accepted into Lunaris Academy." Violet's ears started ringing. This was impossible. There had to be a mistake. No one could have accepted her into any school with the offensive words she wrote, let alone the Lunaris Academy. Something was fishy. Out of all the elites in the school, the whore's daughter, Violet Purple, was chosen to attend the Lunaris Academy, even after writing shit on her application. Everyone was shocked. As Violet headed out of the headmaster's office, all the elite kids who used to look down upon her now looked at her with jealous eyes. Violet wasn't much elated at her acceptance to the Lunaris Academy, but watching the dull, hung faces of those brats gave her a bit of relief. That was the only good thing that came out of her acceptance. However, now that her application plan had failed, Violet had a new plan in mind to ditch the academy. For over a week, she skipped school because the scholarship had a deadline. Show up within a week, or they'd give it to someone else. Violet hoped that this would get her rid of the Lunaris. But to everyone's surprise, some stranger from Lunaris sent her school a letter, all polite and everything, saying the offer was still good. They even said to call if something was stopping her from coming. It was bizarre. Lunaris wasn't usually this nice. It was like they were chasing her like she was some VIP or something. Violet hadn't shown up at Lunaris for a week, but still they hadn't given her spot away. Violet's school was surprised. Sure, she was smart and athletic, but there were way smarter kids at her school, the brainiacs who studied 24/7, hoping to get that scholarship. Lunaris didn't want them. They only wanted Violet. It made no sense. No one knew what exactly was happening at Lunaris, but Violet was sure the star of her school now. Seeing Violet wasting her opportunity, her teacher tracked down her mom Nancy's number and called her. The next day, a furious Nancy went all haywire on Violet. And well, things went downhill from there, and there wasn't a thing she could do about it. Violet was going to Lunaris, whether she liked it or not. Violet had never belonged anywhere, and she certainly didn't belong at a school full of royalty and wolves. But here she was. The cool air sent a shiver down Violet's arms as she looked up at Lunaris Academy. She still had no idea how the hell she got accepted here. She was all confused as she stepped through Lunaris's Gothic gates, but before she could take another step, a guy with bright green hair came barreling towards her, laughing like he was being chased by a pack of wild dogs.
Violet didn't have time to react before he slammed into her hard. Whoa! Before she knew what was happening, his arms were around her waist, steadying her. Well, hello there. Look what fate just delivered. He purred, his voice smooth as silk. His warm breath tickled her neck, and Violet shivered, realizing how much trouble this guy could be. She pulled away and looked up. Big mistake. A mischievous grin spread across his face, and Violet's pulse quickened. As much as I'd love to get to know you, my purple princess, he said, there's a monster about to kill me. Okay, so he's a flirt, but murder? Violet's blood ran cold. She really hoped he wasn't being literal, but apparently he was. A deep roar echoed through the hall, startling everyone. What is going on? Before Violet could even ask, the green-haired guy was running again. Just as Violet was about to make a quick exit, she noticed something on the floor. Hey, you dropped this, she yelled, figuring it must have fallen off when they collided. Hold on to that for me, darling, would you? He winked, then vanished out the door, and he didn't even apologize for practically running her over. Violet shook her head, totally bewildered. What a weirdo, but at least he has good taste. She muttered, examining the necklace. The sapphire pendant, a teardrop surrounded by tiny diamonds, shimmered with an oceanic blue. Violet frowned. This wasn't just any necklace. The intricate engravings suggested a family heirloom. Holding something so personal made her uneasy. She was still examining it when a growl raised the hair on her arms. Turning slowly, she saw a furious, red-haired werewolf stalking toward her, muscles tense with fairly controlled anger. Oh, great, what now? Hatred burned in his eyes, his lips curled into a snarl. What did I do? She thought, panicking. His gaze locked onto the necklace. The other students just looked away. A chilling realization washed over her. This guy could kill her right here, right now, and no one would care. What kind of place is this? I don't know what you and Roman are up to, he hissed, his voice dripping with menace. But touch my stuff again, and it won't be good for anyone. He growled, lifting her off the ground. His stuff? Oh no. Violet realized he was the necklace's owner. The green-haired guy must have stolen it. That explained why he was running. And now, thanks to him, she was about to be murdered. Panic blinded her, until, just as suddenly, he set her down, almost gently. To Violet's surprise, his eyes softened for a second like he hadn't meant to hurt her. Listen, Purple Girl, don't get caught up in Roman's games, he warned before stalking off with the necklace. Breathless and trembling, Violet had no idea what was going on. She just lay there, humiliated and terrified. Before she could move, a shadow fell over her. Not again, she thought. Looking up, she forgot how to breathe. Another tall, imposing guy stood before her. He wore dark shades inside, which immediately set off Violet's internal alarm bells. Who wears sunglasses indoors? Call it a hunch. But something told her the shades weren't a fashion statement, but a necessity. There was something off about him, something darker. Violet's heart pounded, and a weird tingle ran through her, a warmth settling in her stomach. What is wrong with me today? For a split second, their eyes met, or at least she thought they did. Behind those shades, she felt the weight of his gaze, sizing her up. A foolish part of her hoped he'd help her up. No such luck. Instead, his lips curled into a cold, mocking smirk, the kind that made Violet feel like prey, a toy to be played with. His eyes raked over her body, and her breath caught from a sudden jolt of fear. She'd dealt with guys like this back at her old school, and she knew better than to trust men with that dark, brooding intensity. Whatever was drawing her to him, it wasn't good. Suddenly, his lips twisted into a wild, unsettling grin. Welcome, my purple flower. I've been waiting for you for so long. What the hell? Why are all of these guys being so frank with me, calling me nicknames on my first freaking day? This place is really messed up, and what is this look this shady guy is even giving me? Violet was terrified. Even that time she almost choked to death didn't freak her out as much as this creepy guy. Violet got up quickly, practically flew down the hall. She didn't look back, not even once. It's probably nothing, Violet told herself. Just some bored psycho wolves getting their kicks from messing with a human. But no matter how hard she tried to shake everything off, a nagging feeling stuck with her. Something wasn't right. What were the odds of running into a thief, getting choked by a brute, and then meeting that guy all in like 5 minutes? This wasn't a coincidence. It felt planned. But who did it? And why? Was her getting accepted into this academy also part of some wicked plan? Violet shook her head, trying to clear her thoughts. as she was about to meet the principal. Maybe she'd finally learn why she'd been accepted despite her less-than-perfect submission, and what was happening to her on her very first day. As she knocked Principal Jameson's office, a voice called out, "Come in." She smiled as Violet walked in. "Welcome, Violet." But her smile faltered when she saw the bruise marks on Violet's neck. "Who did this to you?" she demanded, her voice full of worry. For the first time since arriving, Violet felt a flicker of hope. Finally, someone was going to deal with that jerk. She quickly explained what had happened, describing the red-haired guy in detail, but as she spoke, Principal Jameson's expression changed from anger to something much worse. Fear. "You mean Griffin Hale did this to you?" "Griffin Hale? Is that his name?" Violet asked. "Yes, Miss Purple," Principal Jameson began, her voice suddenly cautious. "I understand you're upset, but what happened was probably just guys messing around. Things are different here at Lunaris Academy. It can get a little intense, but it's all in good fun." Violet's face hardened. Messing around? Good fun? Miss Jameson, he practically choked. Violet stopped mid-sentence. She kinda sensed that even Principal Jameson was powerless in front of those snobby rich werewolves. Violet didn't even ask about the mystery of her application, as she figured Jameson was no more than a puppet. She swallowed her anger, but not her need for payback. Jameson might be afraid of them, but Violet wasn't. She had no clue how she'd get revenge on those guys who could snap her like a twig, but she'd figure it out, she always did. "Were you saying something, Miss Purple?" the principal asked. "Oh no, Miss Jameson, all good." "I'm sorry you had such a bad experience, Miss Purple," Jameson said. "But trust me, the boys aren't always like this. I'll have your student guide, Catherine, come get you. She'll take you to the infirmary to get these wounds checked out. Classes are almost over for the day, so you can start fresh tomorrow." Principal Jameson walked to her desk, picked up the phone, and called Catherine. A few moments later, Catherine, her student guide, arrived. Violet left with Catherine for the infirmary. On the way, Catherine handed out a box to her. "That's your Lunaris welcome pack. Go ahead, open it," Catherine urged, seeing Violet's questioning look. Violet unzipped the bag. Along with a stack of textbooks, there was a sealed package tucked inside. When Violet pulled it out and saw the logo, her eyes went wide. "No way," she whispered, holding up the sealed phone box and looking up at Catherine. Catherine smiled knowingly. "We get that some of our scholarship students come from less well-off areas, so we give out free devices to help students learn here at Lunaris Academy. Here, just log into the Lunaris Academy app," Catherine explained. "The school has free Wi-Fi. Feel free to use it." Violet couldn't believe she held a touchscreen phone in her hand. She was finally feeling a bit happy about coming to Lunaris. "Okay, now let us get you to the infirmary and get these wounds checked," Catherine chirped. They entered the infirmary ward just as a healer was tending to a student with fresh burns. "You can't keep doing this, Alaric," the healer scolded. "I'm fine," the guy with the wounds muttered. "He is Alpha Alaric," Catherine whispered. Violet's eyes landed on him and everything else faded. When their eyes met, something sharp passed between them. As he brushed past her, their arms touched briefly, and a spark jolted through her. Violet froze, stunned. Alaric looked at her with a sparkle in his eyes. They were interrupted by another healer who came in to check on Violet as Alaric left. "It's nothing serious, you're good to go," the healer said, handing her some painkillers. And then Catherine took Violet to the hostel room. "Welcome to West House, Violet. This is your home now. And over there are the other houses, east, south, and north." "Whoa," Violet breathed, staring at the impressive buildings. "Miss Purple, you see, this school is all about hierarchy. Human or werewolf, everyone forms packs in their houses. The 4 strongest Cardinal Alphas study here and run these 4 houses. Everyone else follows their lead. They are basically gods here." Violet sighed. She had already seen the glimpses of student power on her very first day. Catherine continued. "The West House you are going to be in is run by Alpha Asher Nightshade." "Asher Nightshade?" Violet echoed, intrigued. "Who is this guy?" "Don't worry," Catherine interrupted before Violet could ask anything else. "Everything you need to know is on your phone, plus your roommates will fill you in. Go meet your roommates." As Violet entered her room, her roommates looked at her with surprising eyes. "No way, it's really her," one of them said, sounding shocked. Violet raised an eyebrow. Why did everyone at this school seem to know who she was? "Hi, I'm Violet," she said, meeting their gaze. "Hi, I'm Alice Parker," a girl chirped. "It's so nice to meet you, Violet Purple." Violet blinked, totally surprised by the sudden friendliness. "And that's Lily Fairchild over there." "Hello," Lily greeted with a wave and a welcoming smile. "And the grumpy one over there is Hazel Sterling," Alice said, pointing to another blonde who looked permanently scowling. When their eyes met, Violet immediately felt the dislike radiating from Hazel. Alice leaned in closer to Violet. "Hazel's just jealous of you." Violet frowned. "What do you mean she's jealous of me?" she asked Alice, then turned to Hazel. "No offense, but we literally just met. Why would you be jealous of me?" "That makes zero sense. Offense taken," Hazel spat. "And quit believing the garbage Alice is spewing. Oh really, Hazel, seriously, your ego is out of control, especially after you were just gossiping about that video," Lily finally chimed in. Violet stepped away from the touchy-feely Alice. "What video?" All three girls turned to her, looking at her like she was totally clueless. Violet felt her cheeks burn. What was she missing here? Lily raised an eyebrow. "You haven't checked your newsfeed?" "Newsfeed?" Violet echoed, even more confused. "Biodome," Lily explained. "It's where everyone at Lunaris Academy, humans and werewolves, gets all the gossip, trending topics, and school news. It's the official school network run by students, and yeah, you're kinda trending right now." What the hell? Violet's mind raced. This was not how she wanted to find out, whatever this was. Before she could even grab her phone to search for this biodome thing, Alice had hers out. She moved closer to Violet, showing her the screen. With a few taps, Alice searched for the video using Violet's name, and there it was. Violet's eyes widened as the video started playing. It was a clip of Griffin manhandling her. Oh God, who the hell recorded that? Violet winced, humiliation twisting in her gut as she watched herself hit the floor, awkward and vulnerable. The thought that the entire school had seen her like that burned in her chest. She wanted to disappear, to melt into the floor and never be seen again. "Is this school really like this?" Violet burst out. "Just picking on people and worshipping jerks like Griffin?" Lily's face turned serious. "Careful about bad-mouthing the Cardinal Alphas," she warned. "The wall's have ears here and you don't want more trouble." "Was that monster a Cardinal Alpha?" Violet questioned. "Yes, and look, you are not even grateful." Hazel sneered from her bed. "What's there to be grateful about in being choked by some entitled jerk?" Violet retorted, losing her patience. "Hey, Violet, what Hazel's trying to say is that you've broken a school record." Violet narrowed her eyes, skeptical. "What are you talking about?" "It's simple. Our Lunaris Academy has a point system for academic ranking. Well, socially, it's the same among the students. We have our own hierarchy. And logically, as the last student to enroll, you should be at the bottom, the omega, the runt of the pack. But here you are on the Luna board, on your very first day." "Luna board?" Violet was confused again. "Yes, Luna board is the ranking system for the girls here. It represents how close a girl is to becoming the Luna of the Cardinal Alphas," Alice declared, tapping the screen. "And look, you have been ranked at number 20, on your very first day after just one encounter with Griffin. Do you even realize how impossible this is? No one has ever shot up the ranks this fast. Ever. By making it to number 20, you now have a chance to mingle with the elites. You now have the privilege of associating with the Cardinal Alphas." "Whatever. By the way, who exactly are these Cardinal Alphas?" Violet asked, her interest piqued. "The Terror 4, Lily answered with a wry smile. "Most of us would kill to even be seen by them, but unfortunately, only those ranked between 1st and 20th have their attention." Violet shook her head, exasperated. What's so special about the Terror 4 that everyone's losing their minds? Heck, even their name screams trouble. "Who said they aren't special?" Hazel Sterling whispered. "What other alphas have you seen with such godly powers?" "What powers?" Violet stammered. Lily turned to her, eyes wide in disbelief. "You really don't know the Cardinal Alphas have powers?" Without wasting a second, Alice tapped away on her phone, then held up the screen with a gleam of excitement. "Look, these are the 4 Cardinal Alphas." The screen displayed a photo of the so-called Cardinal Alphas all together. It took Violet roughly 30 seconds to recognize each one, and when she did, a curse slipped from her lips. "You have got to be kidding me. Why, what's wrong?" Alice straightened up, concern flickering across her face. "This guy."
Violet jabbed her finger at the green-haired Alpha. He's the idiot who gave me Griffin's necklace, and then Griffin nearly choked me. Violet then pointed to the photograph of Alpha wearing shades. And then, this creep just stared at me with his glasses on. You mean Alpha Asher Nightshade? Alice asked. What? Alpha Asher Nightshade? Is he Alpha Asher, our house leader? Violet's voice came out in a croak, dread knotting in her stomach. This can't be happening. Yes, he is Alpha Asher, the leader of our West House, Alice confirmed, solidifying her fears. Damn. Violet's stomach dropped. This guy didn't even help her despite being their so-called leader? How ironic and sad. Completely oblivious to the turmoil brewing inside Violet, Alice continued excitedly, pointing to another figure. And here's Alaric. Isn't he so handsome? Even amid her anxiety, Violet's eyes fell on the picture and her breath hitched. It was him, the guy she'd met at the infirmary. Alice continued. These Cardinal Alphas were all born at the exact same time. Some people say it was a major celestial event. Rumor has it this was the moon goddess's way of clapping back after humans committed mass murder against the she-wolves, wiping out almost 90% of them. The Cardinals were given their powers to bring humanity to its knees, get revenge, and reclaim their spot as leaders. Violet was supposed to laugh off the stories, but a shiver crawled down her spine. If humans knew what the werewolves were planning, why let them get so powerful? Why pretend they were equals when they were clearly predators? She didn't have answers now, but she also knew this wasn't the place to ask. Alice swiped to a solo picture of Griffin. Violet's jaw clenched, the memory of his assault still fresh. But Alice grinned. Look, Griffin Hale, you're handsome brute. Violet shot her a withering look. He's the Alpha of the East, Alice continued. Crazy strong, stronger than most werewolves. He can smash through anything, and his senses make him lethal. If he's mad, he can knock you out with a shockwave punch. Violet rubbed her neck where he'd grabbed her. If that was true, she was lucky to be breathing. Alice swiped again. This one is Roman Draven, Alpha of the South. He can shapeshift into any animal, hawk, lion, wolf, you name it. Super versatile in battle and stealth. He's also a total flirt, but girls eat it up. Violet grimaced. Ew, no thanks. Alice smirked. Also, Roman and Griffin hate each other. Violet realized that might be the reason they were fighting today. Next was Asher Nightshade, Alpha of the West. Asher is, Alice started, the last Alpha you want to meet. He's a total psycho. He's a mind bender. He can plant thoughts, erase memories, basically puppet master you. That's why he wears the shades. You need to keep away from him, especially. Violet shivered. Oh, yeah. She knew there was a lot behind those shades, right? She'd avoid him like the plague. And last, our charming prince, Alaric, Alice said, holding up a candid photo. Alpha of the North, Alice said. He controls lightning, EMP-level bolts, paralysis, storms, you name it. Violet blinked, and that electric jolt she felt while close to him made sense now. Alpha Alaric is brilliant too, Lily added, but his temper deadly. Rumors say that he has been experimenting on something dangerous related to the hearts and electric charges. On hearing it, Violet's brief interest in Alaric almost vanished. So, Alice grinned, any Alpha you like? What? Violet blinked. You're in the top 20 now, Lily said. They'll see you as an equal. But Hazel scoffed. Please, they're all practically taken. Yeah, but no one's officially Luna yet, Alice shot back. Hazel rolled her eyes. You all don't know, but this is all arranged. Autumn is probably already locked in for the one who emerges out as the King Alpha. And the rest, they will probably be married as per family deals. Violet here has no chance. Violet's patience finally snapped. All right, enough. It's not like I am even interested. She looked each of them in the eye. I'm so sick of the ridiculous drama at this school. Alice gasped, offended. Ridiculous drama? Do you know how lucky you'd be if you caught the eye of a Cardinal Alpha? Enough. Violet's sharp tone made Alice flinch. I appreciate you filling me in on the school gossip, Violet continued, but that's all it is to me, gossip. I didn't even want to come to this academy, but now that I am here, I don't want to be part of some pointless tradition. My focus is only to study and build a future for myself. I won't let anyone pressure me into joining in on this nonsense. Violet's roommates were speechless. A heavy silence filled the room. Violet didn't wait for any response. Turning her back to them, she lay down on her bed and closed her eyes, shutting them out. Sleep came quickly, her body exhausted and her mind still buzzing from the day's craziness.
That night, Violet's life changed. As somewhere in her sleep, a certain alpha waited to give her a private welcome into his pack. The dreams started. Violet stirred in her sleep, strong arms wrapped around her. It felt so good she instinctively snuggled closer, murmuring softly. She'd never felt this safe and secure. And his scent, totally intoxicating. She chuckled low in his chest as she nuzzled his neck, her nose brushing his skin. She moaned softly, pressing closer, and he laughed. This wasn't right. Violet suddenly understood what was going on. It was Asher Nightshade messing with her head. But how? She hadn't looked directly into his eyes, had she? A million questions raced through her mind, but she knew she had to snap out of this dream first. She remembered a book about dream manipulation. The only way out of such manipulative dreams was to put yourself in danger. The 4-story drop outside her window should do the trick, she thought. She was ready to jump. From her window, the ground looked miles away. For a second, she hesitated. What if she actually died? Well, if that happened, at least this nightmare would be over. Anything was better than another second with this psycho. She jumped. The fall felt like forever, the wind rushing past her face. She braced for impact, but when she opened her eyes, she was back in Asher's room. Perfectly fine. Oh no, what was happening? Why was she being targeted? She hadn't even done anything to get his attention. She glared at Asher, pure hatred coursing through her. This was all his fault. Furious, she stormed toward him, ready to make him pay. Other students might worship him, but she'd rather die than let him get away with this. Remembering Griffin's move, she grabbed Asher's neck. "What the hell have you done to me?" she snarled, her voice shaking with anger. Everything had happened so fast, twisting her reality and leaving her mind spinning. And then he grinned. He actually grinned like she was some kind of entertainment. That smug, infuriating smirk made her blood boil. She tightened her grip on his neck, wanting him to know she wasn't playing games. That's when things got weird. The scene shimmered like a dream changing. And when Violet blinked, she was on top of Asher, straddling him on the bed. All the blood drained from her face. This was Asher's world. He was in control, pulling all the strings. She tried to get off him, but he said, "Calm down, baby." A wave of calmness washed over her, her body relaxing against her will. Oh no, how do I get out of his manipulation this dream? Violet wanted to freak out, to fight, but it was like all the fight had been sucked out of her. Asher adjusted, sitting up and holding Violet in his arms like they were a couple, not two people who'd just been battling for control. A blush crept up her cheeks when she realized she was sitting right on top of him. She was disgusted by this manipulative jerk, but her body wasn't playing along. It was drawn to his intense pull. She clung to what little control she had left. It wasn't hard to figure out what Asher was thinking, not with that dark, hungry look in his eyes, like he wanted to swallow her whole. They'd met only once that day, and this was the longest they'd ever talked. Yet here he was, looking at her like he'd been waiting for her forever. Violet's feelings were all tangled up, a mess of confusion. Just as she was about to say something sassy and break whatever spell he was trying to cast, Asher spoke. "You're finally here, my purple queen." "What?" Violet choked out, completely thrown. "Not again." Confusion washed over her. Asher was again talking like they'd known each other forever, but she knew they hadn't. "For a while, I thought you weren't going to show up. You know, I was considering how to come get you. You have no idea how much work it took to bring you here, little purple." Violet was stunned. "Do I know you?" Violet finally asked, finding her voice. "Yes, my purple queen. You called, and I answered." "What?" Violet blurted out, totally lost. What did he mean? Asher's eyes locked onto hers, dark and intense. He didn't blink. Then he quoted her own words back to her. "Special skills. 1, giving amazing services, 2, giving a killer lap dance, and 3, you haven't seen anything until you've seen me in bed." Ice shot through Violet's veins. Her face went white. No, there was no way. This can't be true. What the hell? It was this creepy guy who accepted her and sent all those letters for her? Watching her shocked reaction, Asher grinned like a predator who'd just cornered its prey. "We are in bed right now, my purple queen," he purred, "and now is the time to demonstrate your special skills. Just start already. I'm waiting." Oh no. Violet lied on her application, hoping it would keep her out. She never imagined that lie would be the very thing to pull her in and bring her the greatest troubles of her life.
Violet was nothing like she mentioned in the application. But now this dangerous alpha himself was demanding she play the part she made up. How will Violet survive this? And who among the mighty Cardinal Alphas will win her over?
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.